I put all my favorite must-have watercolor supplies in this bag. It's pretty heavy. I'm gonna show you what's in it, but before I do, let me know down in the comments, what is your #1 watercolor paper? If price were no issue, what is the only one that you would choose if you could only pick one? All right, I'm just back from the gym. Let me get changed and I'll meet you back here. I am trying to squeeze in this video before I have a Zoom meeting, and I find that when I wear this particular blazer, people are less willing to waste my time. Now, I've got everything in this Roots bag. Roots is a Canadian company. I am a Canadian. I'm Helen. I'm based in Toronto, but you're not here for that. You want to see the watercolor supplies that I've been into. Let me just have this up here. Oh my goodness. Okay. I asked you for your favorite paper, so it's only fair that I now tell you mine. It is not Arches paper, which I know is a favorite of many watercolor artists, especially those who have leaped past the absolute beginner stage, but I've tried this one. I've tried a number of them. My all-time favorite is actually from the company called Baohong, which is also known as Meeden. I think they're either under the same umbrella or everything Baohong is transitioning to the Meeden brand. If any of you know exactly what's going on with the whole Meeden versus Baohong situation, because it's confusing, let us know down in the comments, because I'm still seeing Baohong for sale on Amazon. I don't know if that's old stock. I don't know if they realize they have such good brand name recognition that they're actually not retiring that line, but it is confusing. But when I bought it, it was Baohong, and not just any of the sizes, specifically this large size. Am I holding this the right way? I guess it's a very loose floral. That probably doesn't matter much, but I think I painted it like this. This was a study from YouTuber Crystal Tan, who does a lot of really beautiful loose floral work. This size, this paper, this is 100% cotton. It really changed the game for me, and I've not found one that I like better. And the cool thing about this size is that if this is too large, well, then you just cut it in half, and then you have also just a really nice size to work with. Being that it is larger, it's just like it's not the easiest size to frame, if that's something you're interested in doing, or even to send in the mail, because I sent one this size to someone and I had to like roll it up and put it in a tube, whereas the smaller sizes of the Baohong actually just fit in a nice like rigid mailer. So I guess that's something to consider if you're hoping to give these away as gifts or what have you. Okay, I just had to sneak down here where I keep all my art stuff, because I wanted to show you a couple things when it comes to talking about watercolors, which I will do in a second. Let me just also grab a quick drink before I return to my jail cell. I don't know if you know this, but paper is a very hot topic here on YouTube. Everybody has an opinion, and people have very strong opinions. That's why I started out by asking which is your favorite watercolor paper. But if Baohong is your favorite, as is mine, I did do the math, because they sell large rolls. You can get a very large roll of watercolor paper, so you're not buying like blocks or sheets, and then presumably you would cut it to size. And I've heard this tip from a number of people, but here's the thing. So where I am, I did the math, and it actually did not come out to be significantly cheaper than buying a block of the larger size. It was a little bit cheaper, but then you've got to think about, like, you've got to store it, you've got to use it up, presumably before it kind of goes bad, which can happen before it yellows. It's nice if you have it in a quite climate controlled area, which I don't exactly. Where I live, we get very harsh winter weather, where it gets snowy and dry, and then we can flip to very humid summer weather. I mean, not humid compared to like Texas, but humid in terms of keeping a perfectly climate controlled indoor environment. And so I didn't go that route. So I'm just buying blocks for now. And it is a little bit more, but then at least it's nice and fresh when I need it. But for those of you going through a lot of it, maybe check out the Baohong rolls. That seems like a really cost-effective, smart way to really also customize the size that you want without relying on the sizes that are pre-cut already. Just a thought. Okay, we are back. So I'll just put these aside for a second and finish up saying what I was saying in terms of other products that I like. Okay, now I figured out what was so heavy in this bag. It's all my sketchbooks. Just quickly, this is Northshore from Walmart Canada. I saw it there. It looks remarkably like Canson XL, right? Look at the colors. I love a spiral bound notebook. I don't know, just something about them for me feels like a great place to practice in, a great place for swatches. I almost always start a page with swatches in here. I don't know, I think there's nothing wrong with having an inexpensive book like this. It really can be very freeing, and you just know that it doesn't cost a lot per page. The next thing I'm gonna show you, my goodness, if you show some watercolorists this, it's gonna be like dangling a garlic necklace in front of a vampire, okay? They will recoil. But I love these little books. And these I have not talked about before yet, I don't think at any great length anyway. These are the Talons Art Creation, very affordable sketchbooks. This one I think was like $8. This one I know was $10 because I bought it pretty recently. And you know, are they ideal for watercolor? I mean, no, not really. The paper is a bit creamy. Watercolor does not look fabulous in it, but you know, it scratches an itch sometimes, which is just like you want to do a low pressure journal entry. Maybe you want to mess around with gouache and watercolor, but you know, you can use just straight up watercolor as well. And is it perfect? No, but there are so many pages in here that it's just fun. It's good practice to fill this up. And yeah, it's not as good as so many other proper watercolor paper journals out there. I keep rebuying it though, because for me, there's a joy in this. There's a joy in the color selection. I love these. This I think is the coral and this is like the mint green. It's just so fun to buy them as well, because if you go to an art store that has a lot of them, it's like looking at candy, or I don't know, it's just like this fun appeal. Don't mind me as I'm going through these and just like enjoying some of the things that I had done in them. It's imperfect, but it's also a lot of fun. So if you are thinking of one, why not just go for it? It's not expensive. And if you find that you're not loving it for watercolor, maybe you like transitioning into just like a regular journal where you handwrite, or a collage journal, which is what I've done with my most recent one. So these are controversial, but I love them. If you are enjoying this video so far, please do like, subscribe, consider leaving me a comment. Even if you don't have anything to say about the paper, just drop an emoji. That really helps to surface this video on the algorithm. My next up favorite is this square Hahnemuhle watercolor. So this is for watercolor journal sketchbook. I didn't think I was gonna like the square. Lo and behold, I loved it. And I'm sorry that I didn't actually buy lots and lots and lots of these when I was in Portugal, and I got this one at a really good price compared to what I pay for it here. I had so much fun nature journaling in it, a bit of urban sketch as well when I was in Portugal. I was in the Algarve region, so beautiful. I was so charmed by Portugal. The perfect place to go if you are into urban sketch in particular. Let me see if I can find something here. Here was a pretty building in Montchique. Oh, and I forgot all about this. Oh, I love how journals can take you back. I was in Banff as well, and so that is Grassy Lake. I forgot that this book came with me there as well. No wonder I love it so much. So those were two great vacations that helped me fill up this sketchbook. It's so great at holding a lot of water as well, considering the pages are not very thick. So yeah, I love this square size. I will be rebuying this particular shape and size. I'll put links to everything down below. I always say, please do support your local art store if you can, but I will give you options. I did figure out the name of the art store in Portugal that I purchased this from, and I will put it on the screen right now. And so if you find yourself in Lisbon at some point and you want to stock up on your art supplies, that is a great little shop, and they're very nice in there. My all-time most used brushes are all Cotman Winsor Newton. I love this clacking sound that they make when they touch each other. It reminds me of chopsticks, which for me is a very nostalgic sound. Anyway, this is the Cotman size 10 that I've used so much that I've actually rubbed the numbering off it. So that is a size 10 round. And then my next most used one is the size 6, probably tied with the size 4, but I just brought the size 6 up with me. The 4 is just a little bit smaller. And then oddly, the brush that I thought I was gonna get the least use out of, I use quite a lot. And that is the size 0 rigger. And so for those of you who are new and don't know what a rigger is, it's just a thin brush that makes a nice long line. And the way that the bristles drag mean that you're less liable to make a squiggly mistake. And so I'll show you a painting. The reason it came in handy is because I made many of these. This particular lavender-ish plant, I keep like iterating on this. It really does help me draw these long leaves without it being like squiggly or messy. So if your hand is not that steady, the rigger does some of the steadiness for you. I have so many favorite paint colors that I would not do anybody any good by going through every single one of them right now. I'm just gonna highlight probably like my favorite 2 of all time. And I say this because I just always find myself using them. And so the first one is actually one I discovered through my Cotman travel palette. And this is my favorite palette. I own this one, and I own a Roman Schmal Urban Sketchers apricot colored tin one. And I know this is plastic, and you know, plastic's not as good as tin. It does come though with these nice pop out palette mixing trays, and I do use these all the time. So it's got not 1, but 2 hidden in there. So that was a really good design. So good for travel. This is the best one for travel, according to me. Inside of here though, was a color that I fell in love with as soon as I started using it. and it is Winsor Newton's Permanent Rose. It is such a pretty color. Here it is. I made these up for myself when I was going to art class just so I would have a shorthand of what was in my palette because I had moved a lot of things around. So I made myself this giant cheat sheet. So there's the Permanent Rose. And then I think I've got a circle of it somewhere as well with a bit more water. And so there it is again, the Permanent Rose. For me, an ideal pink color. You can mute it, you can change it, you can get so much mileage out of it. And then what had happened was when I kind of hit pan with this entirely, because it's the first and maybe only one I've used completely to the point where I had nothing left, I just bought this little tube, and I want to say that this was very inexpensive. It was like a few dollars for this. And so you can just, if you're an absolute beginner, maybe you don't know this, you can just refill empties with a little tube. My hack is to make sure that you go in 3 passes if you want to have it be nice and level, or else it'll just kind of sink in the middle. Kind of like if you underbake a cake. One day you fill it up 1/3, wait till the next day, let it dry a bit, go back and fill it 1/3 again, and then on the 3rd day, fill it up a bit more. And I'm sure there's better hacks than that. Let us know down below in the comments if you've got a better hack for filling an empty watercolor half pan than that. Oh, and also you use a little toothpick to just make sure that you get the air bubbles out of it. So yeah, I just keep topping this one up. I love Permanent Rose. Next up, soon as I started playing with this color, I was like, I love this. And that is Roman Schmal's Magenta. And so here is the little half pan, and I keep my little loose ones that I've purchased in this little Altoids tin. And it's this one right here. It is heavily used. What is it about this color? For me, it is so lovely. Here it is on a swatch. It's just so rich. It's vibrant. I always reach for it when I'm doing florals, and I do a lot of florals. Here it is on my little cheat sheet. That's the magenta. So pretty. A lot of people say they wish Roman Szmal, which is a Polish brand, they would make tubes. Probably for this exact reason, it would be nice to just refill this one, but I will probably just get a full pan next time because I love the half pan so much. Okay, the last one I'm gonna mention, I swear we're gonna move on, is Buff Titanium. Also by Roman Szmal. I don't know what it is about this color. It is so pretty. You can mix it with things and mute them. If you use it sort of in the background, it looks like this beautiful patina of almost like an oil painting. Buff Titanium, so beautiful. I don't want to talk too much about pens. I could make a whole other separate video on that, but my favorite of all time, like if I had to pick just one forever waterproof pen that's suitable for ink and wash, it would be this Micron size 08. I don't know what it is about the 08. It is my favorite size. For me, it's not too thick and it's not too thin. I don't love the thinnest sizes of fine liners. I don't know why. I think I like the line to be a bit more bold, but not as bold as like when you're using like a Sailor Fude 55-degree angle fountain pen. Not a super thick line, but to me, it's just so visually pleasing. I wonder if I have anything drawn in this. Let me look. Yeah, I do. So that gives you an idea of what the 08 fine liner looks like. And look, I know it's not the most refined look, but it is pleasing to me. Oh yeah, here it is again when I was working on a little plant. Yeah, for me, it's just a really nice size. I think what it is that I like that you can see 08 from a distance. Like if you are a bit further back from your ink and wash painting, it just has a boldness that you still can see. There's no explaining why we like some things, right? It's just like we're drawn to it, and that's that. Okay, lastly, because I do have to make this quick because it is time for my Zoom call in like 1 minute. Just a little shout out for absolute beginners. Somewhere to start is this watercolor workbook by Sarah Simon. Here it is. The great thing about this is that if you have no idea about color theory or mixing colors, you're gonna do some exercises and you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn how to make seashell, pea green, light medium tan, you know, so skin tones are in here, stone, soil. I mean, these are just names, presumably that Sarah Simon kind of made up, but you get to practice all kinds of watercolor mixing skills. And this is watercolor paper inside, so you can put your swatches right on here. And then when you feel like you've got on top of that, there are like so many adorable projects that you learn how to paint in. And for those of you who don't know how to draw yet, which is the starting point for many absolute beginner watercolorists, you don't have to. These are already blank and you fill them in. So I will show you one. I haven't finished this yet. So very faintly you see in gray, you can ink it in yourself and then you put the watercolor. And again, this is watercolor paper. So you know, you make it your own. I think that this is such a great book for absolute beginner watercolorists who are maybe feeling intimidated with water control, with mixing colors. I still use mine because I love to reference these colors sometimes when I'm not sure what to use and I'm kind of bored of what I have. I'm like, oh, let's look in here and make up some fun colors to play with. All right, just a quick note, if you've watched to this point, thank you so much. I really appreciate you spending your time here with me, especially because I know this time of year is so busy. Just the briefest of plugs from my other channel. It's called Field Notes. I talk about issues right now regarding gentle minimalism and decluttering, like I'm doing a little series on that. And so if that is of interest to you, because I'm all about keeping things minimal, go ahead and join me on that channel. And I'll put a link down below for you to subscribe if that is something that you're interested in. All right, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. And it's now time for me to actually go to work. We'll see you soon.